Good morning, everyone, and welcome into Awe Studio. I'm glad you could stop in for part 3 of how to create a painting that leads you towards a healing process. And last time I took the color composition, which I created in part 1, and led you into more definition, a theme, if you will, for this painting. And now today I want to focus in on what's really important for this process, and that would be down here in the elements that my mind finds representational, leading me to understanding more of what the healing in this painting can be for me. And I don't know if you can see this, but I am relating to a figure here underneath this beautiful nature scene, and perhaps even a larger face over here in what I considered the rocks from before. So let's get started and I'll show you how I'm going to develop this. Okay, let's get started right down in here where I'm seeing the figure. And you might be able to see a little bit of a head here, perhaps some flowing hair and body here, being bathed in this beautiful nature scene. And so, per usual, I'm going to start with a little bit of yellow because I find that to be kind of my warm-up color. And I'm going to put that yellow in underneath what I would consider to be the chin. Also, let's bring it over here into this hair-like quality. And what I'm going to do with my colors now is just lightly coax forward anything that to me would be figurative. I use many different colors for this. White, maybe in the cheeks. And as you can see, there are many different colors that have existed in this painting before. And by mixing them, I can allow them to come out naturally. I see a little bit of red here from before, so I'll just go with it. Go with what I see. And also I'm using my previous skills that I've learned about pulling out images in paintings by allowing them to gently come forward. And by that I mean I'm not exactly going to draw onto the picture, but I look into it and I see, well, here is clearly where the eye would be. So I'm going to just coax it forward with the smallest amount of color. You can also add other elements, such as over here there would be probably an ear. And if I see this to be the bridge of the nose, a silhouetted nose here, looking from the side view, looking up. This is my favorite kind of play because I'm just allowing the image to appear to me out of what the colors suggest. I don't have to worry too much about whether it looks good or not, because the point here is, does it appeal to me? Does it create the forms that I feel are right? What I bring into one area of the picture, I can also bring into another. I want to go about this pretty delicately, so I may put on color and then remove off edges so that I don't get too hard too fast. And I know that contrast is going to be an important part of this. So I may contrast sometimes with the colors, like here, yellow next to blue. And I can bring out the figure from using the color behind or around as well. And then I can return again and again to the elements that create the figure for me. Here, I'm just going to pick up a little color from a previous blue because I don't need quite so much blue here to create the eye. And I can't just ignore this side of the painting, any side of the painting. So maybe I'll come back in here where I sort of thought there was a cliff-like quality. As I'm painting, I'm asking myself inside about this figure that I am seeing here. What is this figure doing? Do they have their legs up? Going into this? And maybe they do. Maybe this is their knee here. And the foot could be way up there. And you can see that by painting the water over the figure, I can actually lift off to create a sort of light, which is very helpful in arms, hands, and feet. Also in the face. And this is where the skill of learning to pull out images in color is something that you can learn gradually by practicing letting yourself experience what it is that you really envision. Now it's going to be helpful for me to every now and then evaluate what I've done and see how I can incorporate what's clearly happening down below here into the previous part of the picture. And if I have this large figure sort of reclining here in the foreground or coming out of the foreground, perhaps I'd like to lead the eye of the viewer into what we consider to be those trees in the background. And I do have this violet that I'm working with, but it could also be part of the shoulder here. And other trees. And I'm playing between creating what the viewer is going to be able to see and letting their eye also develop what their imagination says is going on in the picture. And in that way, the actual process of the painting can be healing for those who look at it as well. They can get something out of it that pleases them, that they can relate to. Let's come back to the light. Again, bringing light into the figure. This could be cut off a little bit. How can we do that? Maybe we'll just bring the light underneath here. The more contrast I create in a painting, the better I'm going to be able to see what's appearing. So we see that I have created quite a bit of contrast here underneath what would be my person. Here this is quite abstracted, going up, leading from the person into the trees. Let's just take a little bit of that and connect it here. And now you can see that this figure is beginning to come out here in the foreground, really taking prominence, and the bathing of light from this natural scene is coming down, and there is a certain connection here from the figure right in to what would be those trunks. I'm going to go on and create a little more definition in this figure and balance it and reevaluate it and show you when it's all finished.